What's up guys, I'm Newbie Dave and today we're building an entrance to the cave. Let's get started. What's going on guys? One of the things I love about this new storage building is this little outlook over here that looks out into this big beautiful cave down there. I picked this spot for my new base a couple of episodes ago for two reasons. One is because I love these awesome mountains that are surrounding it. I am really excited about getting up in there and doing some more builds like the little blacksmith forge that we did a couple episodes ago, doing some more stuff around in the mountains. But I also picked this spot because I knew that there was this massive cave system right below it. You can kind of see right over there in the distance, it kind of opens up on the other side of the mountains. That's how I originally found it, was flying around with my Elytra, exploring after the Cave and Cliffs update, found this massive cave system, and it was right below all these mountains. So I've been doing a lot of work up on the surface above all this cave system, but now it's time to get down into the cave system. And before we can get down into the cave system, we need a way down into the cave system. And that's what I want to work on today. I want to build a nice cave entrance. I don't want to just, start on the surface and start stair-stepping down until I get into the caves. I want something that looks nice, that is kind of fun to go through. And so just looking through this window, this may end up being kind of hard to see in the recording, but it looks like right over there, the cave starts kind of coming up a little bit, and it looks like it's open on that side still. So I'm hoping that if I start digging through this wall over here, then I'll either run into the cave system or be able to start stair-stepping down from there. So let's go through this wall. We'll see what's over on this side ways. Yeah, look at that. Broke through. This is actually a really good spot. It looks like the cave more or less dead ends. It might actually go around on that side, I don't know, but you can tell it's not the big expansive cave system like it is over there. So this is actually a really good spot for this, which is good. I mean, if this hadn't worked out, like I said, I could have stair-stepped down on this side of the wall. I could have turned and stair-stepped down over here or something, but I think this is going to work out really, really well. So here's what I want to do. I am going to make a 3x3 hole on this side of the wall. And I'm going to kind of dig out on the other side, going back all the way, just get rid of all this stone and dirt. There we go. So I've got a nice little hallway going down there. It's not as big as the hallways over here for my storage on that side and my mass storage on this side, but that's okay. I just want it to be 3x3 because what I'm going to put over here is a nice 3x3 piston door. I'm not very good at big redstone builds, and once you pass 2x2 redstone piston doors, the circuitry to make them work starts getting a lot more complicated. And so 3x3 is kind of pushing it for me. But I've got a plan that I think is going to work and still look kind of nice, but not require a ton of redstone and pistons and everything. So it's actually going to be pretty simple, I think. Up at here in this shulker box is really all that should be required. We're going to need 10 pistons, and actually that might not be accurate. I might not need all 10 of these. I may have miscounted. We'll need a little bit of redstone, some torches, a redstone repeater, and then some decorating blocks of your choice. I don't know why I have glass. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, the glass is going to be part of the redstone circuitry. That's pretty simple. It's not going to be terribly complicated because I don't do well with complicated redstone. And one of the things I like about building this whole thing underground is with piston doors, there's a lot of circuitry to make it work. And when you build these things above ground, you have to do something to kind of hide it. And because this whole thing's going to be underground, the ground's just going to hide it for us. So we don't really have to worry about it. So I think right around here, I'm going to end up putting a pressure plate to open this thing. So I want to go back 1, 2, 3 blocks. And then I think I will do the piston door right here. So just dug out a little hole in the ceiling and walls and floor where the pistons will retract into. And so before I put any of the blocks in, I need to get all the pistons in because if I put the blocks in, then it's just going to be a wall. And I need it to open before I put the wall in. But I am going to go ahead and dig out where the pistons will go. And what I'm going to do, you're going to need sticky pistons for this because we need the sticky pistons to pull the blocks to retract them to open the door and then push them back to open it. So I'm going to put 3 sticky pistons on each side. These will retract the 3 blocks on each side, which is going to leave a block on the top and a block on the bottom. So I'll put 1 sticky piston in the middle for each of those. And then there's going to be 1 hole left in the middle, and that's where these 3x3 piston doors start to get a little bit complicated, is what do you do with that hole in the middle? You could just leave it. You could do some complicated system where some piston pushes it down and then another piston pulls it the rest of the way out of the way or something. But those tend to take a lot longer to open and require a lot more complicated circuitry to set up. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm actually just going to put a sticky piston right here, and this is going to open and close a block that will go like behind that hole that's in the door. And so when you're on this side, you're going to see like the 3x3 outline, and then there's going to be the hole, but there's going to be a block behind it, so it'll look solid. It's all going to look great when I'm done, I promise. Now for the actual door itself, I've said this a couple times in the past couple episodes, I'm trying to be a little bit more adventurous with my build palettes, using some materials that I haven't really used a whole lot, and something that I haven't really used at all, even though it's been in the game for close to a year now. I don't know, when did 1.17 come out? I'm going to use some copper blocks, and I'm going to make a couple of these into exposed cut copper, which I think this was a very recent update. When you cut the copper on a stone cutter now, you get 4 cut copper for a single copper block. And so you can get a ton of copper from this. It's like quadrupling it for some reason. I don't know why, it's the same size, but you get 4 times as much copper. So I'm going to use a couple of these cut pieces. I also want it to oxidize more, but this stuff takes so long to oxidize. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in some of the exposed copper that I already have, and just some regular copper. And then I'll let it slowly oxidize, and then I'll come back with some honeycomb to like seal it so that it stops oxidizing. So for these 2 blocks on the bottom and top that don't have any pistons, those are just always going to be there. So I'm going to put a block there, I'll put an exposed one there. Same thing, maybe I'll do one there and there. And then for all these other ones, I'll just do some normal exposed copper and regular copper blocks. Every now and then, maybe I'll throw in like another cut copper one. There we go. And so you can't really tell right now because everything is retracted, but these 3 on the side and these 3 on the side will get pushed in to close. This one on the bottom and that one on the top will get pushed in. And then there's going to be a block in the middle, and I'm going to put a glowstone here. So when it closes, this glowstone will be in the middle. It's not going to be flush with the others, but it'll create like this nice sort of donut pattern that I think is going to look really good. And then so that it doesn't look weird to just have a glowstone hanging from the ceiling, I'm also going to put one back here, maybe right there. I think I'm going to do like a 3 wide staircase going down. And so yeah, let me put it right. Oh, I should have used my Silk Touch pickaxe. Whoops. Let me put it right here so it's kind of centered on where that staircase will be. So this is just going to be like the ceiling lighting in this area. And when this one's retracted, it will look like the other one, and it's just, hey, look, there's some lighting in the hallway. But then when the door closes, it'll get pushed down and fill in that gap. Now let's start working on the redstone for this. Most of the redstone is going to go underneath this build, so let me dig down below it. And I'm also going to need to go that way towards the center of my base. Like I said, there's going to be a pressure plate right here. Let me go ahead and make that so I can get that in place. So I'll do a pressure plate right here. So we need to dig down to right below that pressure plate. So dig under a little ways. You can kind of see right there, that is the spruce logs that are right behind the pressure plate. So I know that this piece right here is what the pressure plate's on, and that is really just a single slab. I need to get another slab and turn that into a solid block. Otherwise the redstone signal won't pass through it. There we go. So there is our pressure plate. That's going to be the switch that turns this whole thing on. So right below that, I'm going to put a block of red concrete. You can use whatever you want. You can just put the stone or dirt back in. I always like to use some sort of block that stands out that says, hey, this is part of a redstone device. So if I'm mining or digging around or under this and I run across some red concrete, then I know, hold up, don't dig any further. You're about to break something. So we'll put a piece of redstone on that. Right in front of that, we're going to put another redstone or red concrete with a redstone torch on the other side. Then not in front of that redstone torch, but to the side, we're going to go around in front of this piston right here with some more redstone. And before we go any further, we're going to put a repeater right next to that piston, and we're going to set it to 4 ticks. If you want, this could just be 1, 2, or 3 ticks. The delay is kind of up to you. I like 4. And this is going to serve 2 purposes. One, it will prevent this redstone dust from flowing directly into that piston. It's going to carry it around to the other side. And also it's going to introduce a small delay so that when you step on this piston, I'm sorry, not the piston, when you step on the pressure plate, I went ahead and hooked the redstone up to the piston on the other side to extend it. And I'll show you when you step on this red plate, there's a small delay between stepping on it and it actually opening the door. If you don't set that repeater to 4 ticks, then it's going to open immediately, but more importantly, it's going to close like really soon after you step off of it. And so it might be a little bit hard to get the timing right so you actually make it through the door before it closes. So that's why I like to put a little bit of a delay on there. Now you have enough time to run over the pressure plate. It will open like right as you get to the door and then close after you've gone through it. So that's why we want a repeater in there. The redstone torch is there because we need all of these pistons to be extended before you step on the pressure plate. The default state of this whole system needs to be on. Otherwise, the door will always be open until you step on the pressure plate and then close. We want it to be the opposite behavior. So the redstone torch is going to power everything until we step on the pressure plate. So that is the bottom piston. That's kind of the easy one. Now we need to get the redstone signal up to all of the other pistons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig out some of this dirt around the pistons on the side. I said dirt. This is stone. Yes, I know the difference between stone and dirt. Sometimes my brain and my mouth don't agree while I'm recording. And then I'm going to do some red concrete that goes over like this. And then I'm going to do... to go up, I'm going to start using glass like this. And the reason I use glass to go up is because you can have, let me get my redstone out and I'll show you. I'll put some redstone there. Let me break that piece. I'll put some redstone there and then I'll put, whoops, that glass back and we can put some redstone on top. And the redstone will actually, I guess, you can see it right there. It will actually go up to the neighboring block through the glass. If these were other types of blocks like stone, the redstone won't cross, like it won't go up the side of the stone if there's another block on top of it. But when there's glass, it will go up. So that's why I like to use glass when I'm going up like this. That way I can just kind of stair step the glass back and forth. So the redstone on that glass is going to power that bottom piston. And so we need to put another piece of glass right there with redstone on that to power the top piston, but we also need to get power to this middle piston, and for that, I'm just going to put a piece of glass right next to it with a single piece of redstone. So now all 3 of these side pistons should be powered along with the bottom piece. We're basically going to reproduce this exact same pattern over here for these pistons on this side. So there we go. There's the pistons on the other side are all connected now. And it's the exact same stair-stepping glass pattern that I did over here. So all we have left is that top piece of copper and then the glowstone here. And for this, we need to carry this redstone signal that's on one of the 2 sides up to the top and over to the middle. And I'm going to choose this side because our redstone signal is starting on this side, and so it doesn't have as far to travel. So cleared out some of this dirt up here so we can see. You'll notice I'm clearing out a lot more space than we actually need for the circuitry. That's just so we can actually get up here and work. Otherwise, this would be a lot harder. And so I'm going to put another piece of glass on top of this one right here. We'll put some redstone on top of that. We need to remove that piece because that was cutting off the redstone signal from passing over the top of this glass. And then from here, we should be able to just use red concrete all the way across to the other piston, and we'll put a piece right there. That should power both the piston with the glowstone and the piston on the very top that is controlling the middle block. And now we can start filling some of this back in. You need to be a little bit careful with filling it back in because, for example, if I put a piece there, it's going to cut off the redstone. And so you can really leave this as exposed as you are comfortable leaving it. I just like to fill a lot of it in once I'm done, but you really don't have to if you're worried about breaking it. Now, before we go any further, you may notice a problem. The door is now closed and we are stuck on the other side. So we actually need a way to open the door from this side as well. For now, we could just come over here and break the redstone torch and that would open it so we could get back across. But we need a more long-term solution to get back and forth from the other side. So we're actually going to do something very similar. I'm going to end up putting a pressure plate on the other side, the same distance from the door. So that's going to be, imagine that there's a block right here that's going to be 1, 2, 3, and then a pressure plate. And then we need to connect this up. And we can't just connect it up to this side because this redstone signal is always going to be on. So it doesn't matter what kind of signal comes from that side. We actually need to turn this one off. So to do that, we need to dig under, and we need to go all the way under everything that's already there with a redstone signal that comes from the pressure plate on this side. So what I'm going to do is directly below that pressure plate, I'll put some red concrete with a redstone dust on that. And so let me put something else here just to kind of see it. So now when I step on that pressure plate, you can see that activates. That's good. Now we need to carry this down one more block like that. And where I'm actually going to put a redstone torch on the side of that block right there. I'm going to dig out below this as well and replace all of this with red concrete. And then we will put some redstone dust that goes under this whole thing over to the other side. This is kind of hard to visualize while working around in this confined space. So yeah, sorry about that. After this, maybe I'll hop into a creative world and show you a reproduction of this build out in the open. And so that's going to come to a block that is directly below the block that has the redstone torch on it, and we're going to put a redstone torch on that. So what's happening is very similar to what we did on that side. We have a redstone torch that will always be powered on, that is sending a signal to this side, which will turn this redstone torch off, which allows this one to stay on. Now, when we step on this pressure plate, it will turn that torch off, which will allow this torch to come on, which will turn that torch off, which has the exact same effect as if we stepped on this pressure plate. So now we can see from this side, stepping on that pressure plate opens the door, stepping off opens it. And if I run through to the other side, stepping on this pressure plate also opens the door and stepping off closes it. And now that we're on this side, we can see what it looks like when it's closed. So there's our nice copper donut with the glowstone in the middle, but when you step on it, oh look, there's no glowstone in the middle, there's just glowstone on the ceiling providing some nice lighting for the hallway. So it is a little bit of a, spaghettified redstone build below this thing. But like I said, at the end of the video, I'll show you kind of a creative copy of this without all of the other blocks around it to give you a better idea of how it's supposed to look. So for now, I'm just going to fill all this in with stone. And when I say for now, I mean like for the next 10 seconds, because I'm actually going to replace all of this with some wood to match the storage building on the other side. So let's do that now. I'm going to tear up the floor first and replace all of that with some spruce slabs to match the rest of the floor. It means I'm also going to have to replace the block that the pressure plate is on with a spruce plank. And again, remember that needs to be a full plank or a double slab, not a single slab. Otherwise the redstone signal won't pass through. We'll make sure that still works good. And then I'm also going to do some planks around the edge of this thing, going up to the side there, and then I'll fill in the rest of it with slabs. Now for the walls, I'm going to use dark oak like the rest of the storage room, and also for the ceiling as well. Just be very careful while you are digging out the walls and replacing them that you don't break any of the circuitry inside. Now I've got a little bit of a problem with the roof here in that right there is some red concrete, which means that right on top of that red concrete is some redstone. And I don't want to break that red concrete to put in some dark oak planks because then I have to get back up there and replace the redstone. I could have just put in some dark oak to begin with, but I'm not too worried about it because one thing I want to do to try to make these glowstone on the ceiling not stand out quite as much is I'm actually just going to surround them in some slabs. Now it looks like rather than sticking out an entire block, it's only sticking out like a half block. And in fact, I think I'm just going to do that with the whole roof in here. I was going to do just some dark oak planks in the ceiling for the rest of it, but I actually kind of like that. So yeah, I'm just going to do some top planks on the bottom of whatever blocks are already there in the ceiling up here. And it's a little bit tight, but that's okay because we're not going to be spending a whole lot of time. This is just kind of a transitional tunnel to get down into the caves. Now back here against this back wall, I'm actually going to seal this up with some dark oak like that. And so this is actually not going to be like the cave just yet. This is just going to be a tunnel coming off of our storage building like these other tunnels that's going to turn and take you down into the cave. Now, we are not quite done because we're not in the caves yet. We're still way up here. We need a way to get down there and back up more easily in the future. So I'm going to build a little staircase that goes down there. And unfortunately, I kind of have to do this I need to go from the top down, but that's a big drop. And so let me go get my scaffolding. So we need to be a little bit careful because the big cave system down there is not lit up. And so we don't want to get ganked by mobs while we're doing this. So what I think I'm going to do, I've got some extra stone here that I got from just, digging out this area. I'm just going to build myself a nice little temporary wall down here and take care of whatever mobs come up and attack me in the meantime. There. So hopefully that wall will keep the mobs off of our back while we're building the staircase. And, some skeletons, they could shoot over it, whatever. We're not going to get snuck up on by a creeper is my real concern here. So what I think I want to do for this staircase, don't know how this is going to look, but what I want to do is spruce stairs in the middle, and then I'm going to do stone stairs on the sides of it like that. So let me take this same pattern all the way down. Oh, of course, baby zombies. Of course there's going to be baby zombies that can get under our little makeshift wall. Alright, and now that the staircase is almost down to the ground, I don't want to bring it all the way down to the ground because then mobs can go up the staircase and into our storage building. And the piston door is meant to keep mobs out. They can step on the piston, but hopefully they can't get through the door before it opens and closes. But still, I would just prefer it if they never got up there to begin with. So I'm actually not going to bring the stairs all the way down to the ground. I'm just going to put a wall there. And actually, that's not going to work. I need to build this wall out one row. Get out of here, zombie. I need the wall to be right here. And the reason for that is I'm going to put some vines on this wall. I'm just going to put them on the top blocks like that. That way I can jump up and get up these stairs, but other mobs cannot. I remembered that if you put this directly below this, flush with the stairs, if this was your wall and the vines were on that side, then you wouldn't be able to climb up onto that stair. There would be another, half block above the vines that you wouldn't be able to get up and over. So this should be a nice safe staircase for us to easily get back up into our base and to get down into the caves, but other mobs can't get up these stairs. And I'm actually really happy with this staircase. I like the spruce stripe down the middle with the cobblestone on each side. For the walls, let's see. I'm definitely going to replace that block with some dark oak. For the rest of it though, I kind of like the stone. I think I'm just going to come and replace any gravel like this with just actual stone. And then maybe here and there, maybe right here, I'll put a lantern. Let me go get some lanterns. I didn't bring any lanterns. So this will give us some lighting going down the stairs. And then I think I'm actually going to build a wall of stone on the other side so that this whole thing is completely enclosed and you don't have, it's not open on one side where some skeletons or endermen or other bad guys can see you or shoot at you. Yeah, that'll work. I like that. I'm going to put a lantern on this side to match that one. And so now I need to get over behind that and place some stone behind it so that's not open. I don't really care what this wall looks like from the other side. I don't care that there's a single piece of stone sticking out. I don't care that there's different types of wood up there. I don't care. I don't care what it looks like on this side. I only care what it looks like on this side. And hello, creeper. Now I need to do one more thing down here. I need some sort of lighting to kind of frame this staircase down here. I'm thinking something soul torch or soul lantern, soul campfire maybe. Like one of those soul type flames with the blue light would look really cool down here. And I'm thinking soul campfire now that I say it. Let me go make some soul campfires really fast. All right, here we go. 2 soul campfires. Not great lighting, but really cool effect, I think. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna move those up one. I'm gonna put something right below those. Maybe I'll do like a, I don't know, chiseled quartz or something, some sort of pillar. I'll go back and get something to put under those. But I also need to put some buttons right below these vines. I just thought of that. I don't want these vines to grow. I don't want there to be vines right there because I don't think hostile mobs like zombies will deliberately climb vines, but I have seen in the past like cows and pigs and other mobs like accidentally climb vines. Point is, it is possible for them to go up these vines, and I just don't want it to be possible. And so by putting buttons there, the vines won't grow, and now nothing can get up there unless it can jump. Here we go. How about some chiseled blocks? Will that work? Yeah, that works. That's good. I like it. So let's take a step back, hopefully not get attacked by any skeletons or creepers. And we'll take a look at how this thing looks from the cave. That looks pretty cool. It should be very obvious now when we go down here and do some exploring or something and come back that, hey, there's the staircase going up into our base. It's nice and safe so that only we can get back up in here. We've got this really cool piston door now that will let us through, which looks really cool from this side. And now that I look at it, I might just go ahead and like wax all of these now. I don't know that they need to oxidize anymore. I think it looks pretty cool the way it is. And I did not bring any honey or honeycomb with me, so I'll have to go back to my base to get that. I'll do that off camera. I am going to go get some wax. I'll wax all these things so that they don't oxidize anymore, and that will be our piston door leading to the cave system. And that is going to wrap things up for today. Thank you all so much for watching. As promised, I will put a creative world sort of tutorial, not tutorial, but just a view of the piston redstone workings after this video. So stay tuned after the credits if you want to see that. Otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Thank you all so much for watching. Big shout out to my patron Tiki. Thank you so much for your support. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, and while you're down there, feel free to subscribe so you'll get notified of future episodes as they come out. Thanks y'all, and have a great day. Hey guys, so as promised, here is the 3x3 piston door in a creative world so you can see the workings under and around this thing a lot better. Ignore these levers. I'd put some levers on the pistons while initially building it so I can manually turn them on and off. So as you can see, the redstone that runs under it, not terribly complex. You've got some redstone directly under the pressure plate that goes into a block with the redstone torch that feeds around into this repeater, which sends the signal to this side of the door, which goes up this stair step of glass to reach all of the pistons on the side. You see that on both sides, and then on the top here, it simply goes up and over to the piston on the back that in my build was holding the glowstone. Here it's just holding some wool. And then that also goes into the, whoops. So yeah, not terribly complicated. The other side of this is just some redstone that goes into a redstone torch, which comes under the whole thing into this redstone torch, so that stepping on this pressure plate also deactivates all the pistons, just like it does when you step on this pressure plate. So hopefully this makes the whole redstone workings a little bit easier to visualize without being buried under all of that stone and dirt.